It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin' Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiujende. Thanks a lot for joining us. Yes, December is in full swing. Lots and lots of things happening across the country with regards to festivities. People are planning to travel back, for the holidays. I don't know that we can still find chicken, though. And this is the season for eating chicken. The borders are closed. There's a lot of scarcity with regards to that particular product. I've seen pictures across social media of people going to fast food restaurants trying to get food, and there's no chicken. So it's going to be quite hectic in December with regards to that. But we'll have a great show for you today. I'm going to be interviewing one of my favorite artists in the country right now who just dropped an album, and we're going to be finding out about his album and his journey through music. Also going to be giving you some tips on how to stay smiling through December. I know Nigeria is quite tough as it is right now, but we're going to give you some tips on how to stay happy and keep smiling. But before that, a lot happened a couple of days ago with regards to Sowore, who's been held in custody for quite a while now. He was granted bail and he was released on Thursday, I believe, or Friday. And yesterday we woke up to news again that he was rearrested in court. And we're going to be talking about that to find out why that happened, what's exactly happening, because there's also news about the DSS saying they were not involved with the in-court rearrest. I have here with me Farouk Abbas and Wale Oshunde, both lawyers. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, those images in court, I think it was on Friday, I believe, was quite disturbing. A lot of Nigerians, spoke up about it and were wondering, at what level are we now where we hear, this bail issue has been going on for quite a while now with regards to Sowore, but now bail conditions have been met. He was released on Thursday. Friday, we saw videos of a commotion in the courtroom. We heard about the judge being chased away. We heard about, wigs being thrown. And then he was rearrested again, allegedly by the DSS. I don't know. How does that factor in legally with regards to, I think the conversation now is about his rights as a human, as Nigerian, to be free when the court says so, and of course with separation of powers.
Thank you very much for that question. It's highly unfortunate. A friend forwarded the video to me via WhatsApp, and when I saw it, I was very sad and depressed because, like you rightly said, there's separation of powers, and we need to respect the judiciary. The DSS has submitted itself to the jurisdiction of the courts because by taking him to court, it means that they've agreed to be bound by whatever decision the court gives. And if the court has granted him bail and he has been released on bail, because I read the DSS's press release this morning saying that they didn't evade the courtroom. But if someone has been granted bail and you have released him, even if he breaches his bail condition, there are procedures to that. What you can do is on the next adjourned date for the matter, you go to court and report to the court that, my lord, you granted him bail, he has breached his bail condition, can you revoke the bail? So the issue of you granting someone bail and now filing another charge is unprofessional. It doesn't show that you are strategic enough. Once you have a charge, your charge can be amended. By filing a fresh charge and saying you are abusing him because he breached his bail condition, that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
They should have people.
What bail conditions did they say he breached?
Well, I've not seen the bail condition, but from the statement I read, it appears that they said he made certain statements, like say still calling for revolution and the likes, and that based on the statement he made post bail, they had to arrest him. But my point is that they didn't have to do that because it's making a mockery of the judicial system. The court has granted an order, even if the statement he made, I'm not saying the statement Sowore made was correct or was legitimate or he had the right to make that statement, but even if the statement was wrong and the next adjourned date was in February, what they could have done was they could have brought an application to the court for an earlier date. And my lord, this guy is a security threat. You granted him bail yesterday, we released him yesterday, but he's already causing trouble again. Can you please hear us again and restrain him from making all those statements, or can you totally revoke his bail conditions? If the DSS had done that, Nigerians would commend them. Nigerians would praise them that we're in a rule of law society. But filing a fresh charge is an abuse of process. The same offense he committed was the same offense they charged him to court for. So the new charge sheet that they've prepared, even though I've not seen the charge, you can be sure that it will be a duplication of charges. And Nigerian prosecutors are fond of doing that. So it's unfortunate. We shouldn't allow this. This is not about politics. This is about our judicial system. The common man on the streets cannot take up arms. When people don't believe in the judicial system anymore again, there will be anarchy, there will be breakdown of law and order. So the government, the president needs to wade in and call DSS to order. Because if we continue like this, we might not have a country within the next couple of years. So this issue needs to be addressed. It was totally wrong, what the approach. Although DSS said they were not the ones that invaded the courtroom, that there was commotion in the courtroom, but you should respect the court system. DSS has information, they have intelligence. They should have waited for him to come out of the court premises. You should not arrest somebody in the court premises. It means you don't have any respect for the law.
That's something I want to touch on, Wale, because I think that's what triggered a lot of people, especially people in the legal profession and Nigerians as a whole who understand, first of all, the separation of powers and sort of the sanctity of the courtroom. As much as speaking up when the judge is speaking, you're held in contempt. There are things that don't happen in the courtroom. And DSS says they weren't involved in anything that we have seen online with regards to him being arrested in the courtroom. But everybody who was in the courtroom says something else, saying that the judge was chased away. We saw the commotion that ensued, so we don't know what exactly happened in the courtroom. I don't know if you do, but how does that play into sort of strengthening the judicial system, like he's mentioned? Because that's been the fear. A lot of Nigerians have said, okay, it looks like the legislature, once in a while, they're dancing to the tune of the executive, depending on who's in charge there. But the judiciary is supposed to still stay independent. Is that still the case?
So, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. Like Farouk rightly said, it should never have happened in the first place. You see, for me, number one, from the videos that we saw, it was actually picked up, within the vicinity of the court. Whether it was picked up in the courtroom or outside, the courtroom, the most critical element or the critical issue is that it was picked up within the vicinity, the premises of the court, and that is actually not right. You see, it's not fair. This is not right, and there is no other name, to call it. You see, he should not have been arrested again. That's what I feel. And you see, you're just making this guy become popular. You see, and that's the truth. The conversation is now going to another level. Now you see the international twist to it. People are now reacting on CNN, they are reacting on BBC, they are reacting all over the world. His wife came out to release a statement. There is a U.S. senator who has also come out to release a statement. People are now talking about it. And then you cannot isolate this incident from, that issue of the transportation minister traveling to Spain and then he was, chased away and all that. Before you say Jack, you now find out that none of our political office holders will be able to travel abroad, and then, address people right there without fear of their lives and, molestation. And so this should not have happened in the first place. Now, Transparency International has declared this guy a prisoner of conscience. These are international twists that would gain momentum as you continue like this. And so I strongly feel that, you see, like Farouk rightly said, you see, he should have gone back to the court, even if you feel that, yes, he was trying to jump bail or he was trying to breach his bail conditions. You should have gone back to the court, the sacred place, and address the court properly to say, look, this guy is actually trying to do this. He's trying to incite the public again. He's trying to contravene the provisions or the tenets or the principles or the letters of his bail conditions. And then the court would definitely handle it appropriately. But for you to release somebody, on Thursday, and then on Friday you are back again to rearrest him, I think it is really unfair. But then it means that the DSS would not have even released him if that court order had not come on Thursday. That's the simple implication. And so in a bid to comply with that order of court, they released him. But of course, they placed tabs on him. And then on Friday, they tried to rearrest him.
So play devil's advocate here now. And this is, we know there's a saying that, the issues of security have no timeline, right? When you feel you're under threat, the right thing to do is act immediately. And if you have someone who you've arrested, quote unquote, for treason or whatever the charge sheet said, for trying to incite people against government, and you find that train or that thread of sort of conversation is continuing with the same person, isn't there a sense of urgency as a government to want to nip that in the bud as soon as you can, seeing how, like we said, or like we've noted, he got released, allegedly made statements again that government found, treasonous or whatever it is, and decided to nip that in the bud again. Isn't that a fair way to handle it, since that security was the issue?
Oh, yes, yes. I go to court regularly. This is procedural issue. It's something called motion ex parte. You can file a motion ex parte and affidavit of urgency. You file it in the morning and you put your affidavit of urgency there saying that, my lord, he was granted bail yesterday. He made a statement this morning. If he continues with that statement, the country might become, there might be anarchy in the society. Give us a date. The court can hear them just yesterday. So if the court had heard them yesterday, on Friday, and granted them the order, then they could have arrested him on that same Friday. So they could have filed, if you are proactive. That's the problem I have with Nigerian law enforcement agencies. They work in crude manner. They don't work with intelligence. They don't work professionally. Look at in America and all these advanced countries, when they arrest people, they wait for you. You walk in quietly, and they arrest you without any drama because they have all their facts. So if he has breached his bail conditions, all you needed to have done was file a motion ex parte. And a motion ex parte simply means that the other side will not be heard. You don't have to have served him. You just file that motion that, my lord, he has made this statement. Please just even arrest him for 2 hours. Let him come and talk, first of all. But if you allow him out, it can cause bedlam in the country. That's what they should have done. So there was a procedural irregularity on their part. And that has created anarchy, like my friend rightly said. And they are making him more popular. Personally, I'm not a fan of Sowore. I've never been his fan, I've never been his fan. But with what they are doing, they are breaching his rights. He's a Nigerian. He needs to be respected. I don't believe in revolution. You can't participate in an election and call for a revolution. I feel that it doesn't fly. I don't see the logic in that. Yeah. But notwithstanding that, he has a right. He's a Nigerian citizen, and he must be protected under the law because it's Sowore today. It might be me tomorrow. It might be you tomorrow. If we don't speak up now, then it means that we are up for this kind of embarrassment.
Yeah. We can see the images on the screen now, but I remember when this happened on Friday, there was a lot of talk on social media, and there was constant mention, of course, of President Buhari, but more about Vice President Oshibajo, who's a senior advocate of Nigeria, a very sort of, he's a seasoned lawyer, and people expected him to say something. In a case like this, does the presidency need to say something? I mean, this is a DSS issue. If the president speaks on every single issue, people would say, I mean, he's never going to stop speaking, isn't he? Did we need to hear from the presidency on this?
Absolutely. I mean, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What is even more is that the DSS reports directly to the president. And that's where people who are saying the vice president needs to do this or do that, probably got it wrong or twisted. You see, the vice president can only advise the president. Now, it is the president that knows whether he wants to take that advice seriously or not, or act on the advice that, the vice president gives to him. And that's why I keep saying, when you're not the president, you're not the president. You can be the vice president, but you're not the president. And it is the president that has the authority to command the armed forces. It is the president that has the authority to command the DSS. Yeah. And that's the reason people are saying, hey, Mr. President, you have to say something, because the DSS reports to you directly. And then you cannot say that you do not know this. See, this is actually threatening our national unity, whether you believe it or not. On Thursday, Sowore became the third most trending human being in the world. In the world, wow. Not only Nigeria. That tells us that something alarming is actually cooking up. And then you don't have to wait till it blows up. Because if we continue this way, I tell you, people, look at that Nnamdi Kanu situation the other time. It started gaining momentum just like this. It became so terrible that, the Deputy Senate President traveled the other day. We all saw what happened to him in Germany. This is how the whole thing is also going to start brewing up.
Does this do anything to the vice president's reputation, you think?
Well, being a member of a cabinet that...
As a lawyer, of course.
Exactly. As a lawyer, as a professor of law, as a well-respected professor of law in the country, and then as a vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sitting on a cabinet that is doing injustice or perceived injustice on the citizenry, would definitely not portray him in good light. Yeah. And that's very unfortunate, because the vice president that we know, that we voted for, is actually a very simple man, a respecter of the law. We all saw what he did when he was acting president in this country. And then, with the way it comes across, I do not think that anybody will see the vice president as a terrible human being. Yeah. I do not think he's someone who would like to violate or trample upon another person's right. Talk less of somebody who is actually a presidential candidate in the last election. So we have to take care of all of these facts.
Farouk, does the National Assembly have anything to sort of say in this? As much as there's a doctrine of separation of powers, they also are part of government. And people are saying, well, we have a National Assembly now that's pretty much a rubber stamp of Mr. President. He has a speaker, he has a president of the Senate, who were pretty much APC candidates. It was a unanimous decision. And is there anything they can do or say to sort of nip this? Because, we've seen this with El Zakzaki. We're seeing this now with Sowore. It's about becoming a trend where bail conditions or granting people bail means nothing, because they hold you as long as they want to. What can National Assembly do in a case like this?
With all sense of seriousness, I must say that in the history of Nigeria, I don't think we've ever had a very poor National Assembly in terms of quality of membership. When we hear anything sensible from the National Assembly, we can easily guess who the proponents will be. There are few voices, like my own House of Reps member from Osun State, Bamidele Salam. You can feel Femi Badami, but the majority of them, they don't know what they are doing. They just went there just to go and play. They are not a bunch of serious. Look at an American senator was addressing a press conference on behalf of Sowore. Does Sowore not have a senator in Nigeria? What has the National Assembly done? This National Assembly is a rubber stamp. They are colorless, they are bland. We don't even have a legislature as far as I'm concerned. They are just there for collecting allowances and collecting furniture allowance and car allowance. We don't expect anything from them. They no sense. I don't have any regard. I don't expect anything from them. Even if they issue any statement, I don't think anybody will read the statement. Now, when we write this paper, there are some people that when we see their statement, we just glance through over it. Because the way they emerge, the way the leadership emerged, it wasn't transparent. The way the candidates, senators emerged, it's very poor. A country like Nigeria, the quality of membership should be such that we'll be proud of them. Out of 109 senators or 103 senators, about 80 of them are people that we respect in their various professions. But when you see all of them, some of them are non-entities, some of them are colorless, they don't have any career, they don't have any profession, they've not achieved anything in life, they can't even speak good English, they can't write any, they're plagiarizing bills from another country. It's very poor. We shouldn't expect anything from them.
Wale, you want to say something?
Yeah. So about the National Assembly members, you see, I think this is even the time for them to rise to the occasion and fight for what is right. All I want to say, or why I'm challenging them is this. It is Sowore today. They should know that it will definitely be their turn tomorrow. Because if we have a country, or we run a country where we choose to obey the court orders that we want to obey and disobey the ones that we do not want to obey, I think we are stylishly moving towards the path of anarchy and chaos. And what that means is that even for National Assembly members, those of them who probably do not succumb to the wishes and aspirations of the president, then it means that someday they will be followed up and they will be, they'll be arrested, they will be prosecuted, they will probably be persecuted. And this is the time for them to fight for what is right, to ensure that, look, the rule of law is not truncated in this country. That is actually my fear. If we run a country, a lawless country where we can do whatever we like, when we like them, and how we like them, then it means that nobody is safe again in this country. And that is the very reason they must protect the sanctity of the Constitution. And as lawmakers, they must represent their people very well and protect the overall interests of Nigerians in this country. We are going to hold them to account. We are going to ensure that our votes count at the next election. And the time to start watching out for those people that we're going to vote for in this country is now. So we are looking at them, and I'm sure Nigerians, when I say we are looking at them, I mean Nigerians are looking at them. And through the overwhelming power that we all weigh in this country, I mean the power of the ballot, we are going to definitely vote out bad eggs in the National Assembly, and not only the National Assembly, across all the states of this federation and the local governments. So I think Nigerians should rise to the occasion at this point. We all have the duty to tell our presidents, executive members, the legislature, and even the judiciary the truth. And the truth is, let the rule of law prevail. I do not have any problem with the rearrest or possible rearrest of Sowore if he has committed any crime. But do it properly and legally. Like Farouk rightly said, nothing stops the DSS from going back to court to say, my lord, we have an application before the court. This guy has actually violated the letters and the spirit of his bail conditions, and then we need you to look into it. And then the court looks into it, and then the court will definitely make consequential orders. So when the court does that, you come back to Nigerians, you explain to us that, look, this is what we have done. These points actually led us to making these points or these applications before the court, which have now been granted. And upon these facts, we are going ahead. In fact, invite the man. You don't even need to go and rearrest him. Invite him. Tell him that you have the order of court to keep him in custody again. Ask him to come. Let the man now fail to show up. Then you can then go after him and say, okay, yes, we are arresting you because you have refused to show up. I mean, this plays out in court every day. True. You can simply, invite anybody, and this is exactly what we are saying in this country. We need to get things right and running the way they should.
Thank you very much, guys. I mean, it's a very, I don't know what word to use, but it is quite scary, especially because, like everybody keeps saying, the judiciary is the last bastion of hope for Nigerians. But this constant erosion just feels a little, we don't know what next or who next, especially, and security operatives seem to be playing, today we're talking about SARS, tomorrow is DSS, it's the same sort of security operatives who seem to be above the law, and Nigerians are watching. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Don't just stand there teasing me. Now